We're officially in the year of Stranger Things Season 5, so it's time to talk about what characters will live and what characters won't. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today, I've got a Stranger Things tier list of characters in Season 5, and I'm going to be ranking them based on how likely they are to survive in this final season. I've got a couple different tiers I'll explain here in a second, but before I do, be sure to hit that like button and comment down below what characters you think are the most safe and least safe in Season 5, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. Without further ado, let's dive into this thing. So the tiers I have are alive and well, which means they're going to make it out of the season. Should be safe, up in the air, meaning, 50-50 on if they go or don't. Not looking too good, and then rip, meaning they are a goner in Season 5. I've got 18 characters here. These are all just returning characters, so I don't have any new characters in Season 5 that we've seen pictures of or have heard reports of. These are all just characters who have been around, that we know are going to be in the season, and they're fairly main characters. I don't have, like, Ted Wheeler on the list, but I do have some of the other Wheeler family. Anyway, without further ado, I say we get into this thing fully randomized. Here we go. First up, we've got Erica Sinclair, Lucas's sister, who is, a character that's been around since Season 2. I think a lot of people forget she has a very small role in Season 2. I will say, with my full chest, confidently, she will be alive and well at the end of this season. Killing Erica would just be too cold-hearted. She is the youngest of the kids on the show, alongside Holly Wheeler, who we'll talk about in a second. But to kill Erica, I mean, what would the show really gain from it? Nothing. It would be too cruel, and I don't think Stranger Things is going to cross that line. So, Erica, alive and well. Next, we've got Nancy Wheeler. Honestly, Nancy, I could see going either way, and so I'm going to put her in the up in the air category because I could see them killing her and subverting our expectations, or I could see her living and having to deal with the heartbreak of losing either Jonathan or Steve at the hands of Vecna or some other creature from the Upside Down. So I think I'm up in the air on Nancy. She could live, she could die, kind of flip a coin on the whole thing. Yeah, up in the air. I can't say confidently either way whether she lives or dies. Next, we got Hopper, who's already died in this show at the end of Season 3. And let's be honest, that's the most heartbreaking death in the show, arguably. At the time when we first watched it, and in the aftermath, we see Eleven reading his letter, like, it's devastating. And then obviously we find out he's alive, but still, the emotional weight of that finale, it still hits. Like, that is a devastating scene that always gets the tears flowing for me. For Hopper, I'm honestly going to go with should be safe. The reason being is, like I said, they've already killed this character and brought him back, so to bring him back and then kill him again would be a bit repetitive. It could run the risk of feeling that way, at least, so he should be safe, all things considered. I don't know why they would kill Hopper unless he sacrifices himself for Eleven because he doesn't want to go through with losing another daughter again. That's the only route I could see him dying, but I believe Hopper will be safe by the end of this season. Moving on, we've got Will Byers, who has a very deep connection to the Upside Down. He was taken in Season 1, Ep 1 on November 6th, 1983, and so this season we're going to get some flashbacks of the time there. We know that to be true based on the behind-the-scenes images on Ross Diver's Instagram of a younger actor with, like, dots on their face. They're clearly going to CGI Noah Schnapp onto him, much like they did with Eleven in some of the flashbacks in Season 4. For Will Byers, I'm going to say, of the main kids, he's probably the most likely to bite the dust. Of the 4 main boys, he's probably the most likely to go, but I can't say confidently that's going to be the case. I will say I'm either up in the air or not looking too good, and just based on the fact that someone's got to go, I might go not looking too good for Will. He is someone who could go out with the Upside Down, if we're going to eradicate the Upside Down and get rid of Vecna. This character, who's had such a deep connection to it over the 4 seasons so far, might have to play a role in that, and his death might be necessary, in order for, Vecna to be gone forever. So I think those 2 characters, Vecna and Will, are going to have a lot deeper of a connection than we're aware of, and that will be obviously explained to us in this new season through flashbacks throughout the season, if I had to guess. But speaking of Vecna, Vecna's next on this list, and I'm going to say rip. There's no way Vecna is surviving this season. It looks like, based on some photos we've seen, that Jamie Campbell-Bower will be playing Henry Creel in human form, or O1, pick your poison, pick your preference. I just don't see Vecna getting out of this thing alive. I mean, going into Avengers Endgame, for comparison, we knew that Thanos wasn't going to live and just ride off into the sunset. Thanos clearly died in that film. You never really let your big bad villain live in a show. They always die. Now, how will they finally get rid of Vecna? I don't know, but it's going to be really satisfying to see, and I've always been more invested in how our Stranger Things characters sort of plot to kill or bring down the main threat of the season as opposed to like seeing the actual fight, because them outsmarting the villain is always how they get things done. They're never really going to out physical the villain, right? But someone ends up making a sacrifice. Who's that going to be? We'll talk about that later maybe. But Vecna, RIP, or just rest, because I don't know if I want it to be in peace for Vecna. He's so evil. But anyway, next we have Karen Wheeler, mother of Mike, mother of Nancy, mother of Holly, wife to Ted. Karen Wheeler is a character who people theorized would be having a lot larger of a role than she actually did in season 4, because you got a character poster. None of the other parents really got one. And so a lot of people took that and ran with it. There's theories still, in a recent live stream, there's theories that maybe she's a Creel. Maybe Karen's Alice Creel. There are theories about her identity going on, but I think at the end of the day, she's just the mother of some of the kids in the show. I would say that she should be safe. I'll put her at the top of should be safe, because you never know. But at the same time, they could kill everyone. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I just have this feeling that killing Karen wouldn't be too significant. So I'm going to say she should be safe. I mean, for them to kill Karen Wheeler, that would be out of left field almost, you know? So I think she should be safe, but we'll have to find out. Next, we got Dustin. I think Dustin is alive and well. I'll put him in that tier right here behind Erica. Dustin dying would, again, be too cruel, too cold-hearted. He's already gone through enough in the show, and to end his life after losing Eddie in season 4 would just be so devastating and almost too dark for Stranger Things. So I can comfortably say Dustin, he's going to get to live, and we'll get to see him live happily ever after, hopefully. Moving on, we got Joyce Byers, who's not 100% alive and well. I'm not up in the air on Joyce, but I'm going to put Joyce right here in should be safe. I'm going to go actually at the top of should be safe because, again, she is like the OG mother of Stranger Things. I know Steve's always the babysitter. He's like a mother. We'll talk about him next. The man, don't you worry. But Joyce should be safe, in my opinion. I don't know why they would kill her. I don't know what they would gain from that. Maybe, just maybe, though, they do kill her because we are so focused on Will and Jonathan maybe biting us that they catch us off guard and kill Joyce. Now, that would be devastating for various reasons, but the most heartbreaking element of that would be Hopper losing the real love of his life, let's be honest. That would be just a gruesome way for their relationship to come to an end. Oh, I can't imagine, Hopper having lost a daughter and then losing, the new love of his life. At least he would still have 11, though? I don't know. They could do it, but I just think Joyce should be safe at the end of the day. Moving on, we've got Steve, the Hare Harrington, always the babysitter. He is, a fan favorite. He is like tied with number 1 alongside Hopper for my favorite character in the show. And honestly, I can't say with confidence he's going to be alive and well. I'm going to say maybe not looking too good. I would say either up in the air or not looking too good. I'm going to put him right here in the not looking too good tier because I just always view Steve as someone who's putting himself in front of others in terms of danger. He's going to tell everyone to, hey, run behind, I'll stay back. I look at the dive, he's volunteering to go first, and he damn near did die. They faked us out at the end of season 4, ep 6. So time and time again, he's always in peril. He constantly takes beatings. In season 1, Jonathan whips him. In season 2, Billy gets him. So he's always taking physical punishment, and he is just always looking out for everyone around him. So he could get himself caught in a situation where it's like, he's got to sacrifice himself for Nancy and maybe Jonathan to get away, or Dustin. I just don't want to watch Dustin lose another brother figure in Steve. He's already gone through enough with losing Eddie. To lose Steve would, again, be too much almost, but I do realize at the same time Steve's a fan favorite, and killing him would piss off pretty much everyone and their mother, and so I have him not looking too good, but just because of his own actions, his willingness to put himself in harm's way over those around him. That's why he's not looking too good, but I am rooting for him to make it out, and I pray he makes it out alive. Next, we've got Vicky. This is the new love interest for Robin in season 5. I would say Vicky, honestly, is going to make it out. This is like a character that, again, why would they kill Vicky off? I'm going to put her right here in the alive and well tier, honestly, over Dustin, because I think that she has more of a chance of living. What perilous situations is Vicky really going to be put in? I feel like she's going to be in like the beginning and end of the season, maybe in parts of the middle, but I don't see Vicky biting the dust in season 5. She's too new of a character, and I just don't know what they would gain from killing her. It would really impact Robin, but it wouldn't have as big of an emotional impact on the rest of the characters. And I feel like the big, gut punch, heartbreaking death they're going to go for this season isn't going to be Vicky. It's going to be someone who's been around since maybe season 1, for example. Moving on, we've got Holly Wheeler, who, based on some behind-the-scenes images like the one I've screen grabbed here, based on some paparazzi photos, looks like she's going to have some sort of plotline with Vecna this season, so that alone takes her out of the alive and well tier. Now, I know she is like the youngest of the kids on the show, and this will be the first time she really has a lot of speaking lines, but it's ironic that technically, her character Holly had the last line of season 4, "Mom, look, it's snowing." I think the Duffers were about 20 steps ahead of us with that one, because we were like, oh, weird that she had the final line, and then boom, they cast Nell Fisher in season 5, and she's going to have some sort of significant role. In fact, she might be the one vanishing in the second episode. So with Holly, I'm going to say up in the air. I'll put her right here. I don't think they're going to kill her, but I am just putting her in that sort of 50-50 category because she's getting intertwined with Vecna this season. He's despicable. Who knows what he could end up doing. I just would be shocked if they killed Holly Wheeler, you know, who we viewed her as like the young Wheeler sibling all show, and to kill her, again, might be too cold-hearted, but you gotta say up in the air. The Duffers have done some messed up stuff before, so I guess no one's really safe at the end of the day. Moving on, we've got Lucas Sinclair. I'm gonna say Lucas will be alive and well. I do think he has a better chance of living than Dustin, just because, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say Dustin has a better chance of living. They're about equal for me. I think Lucas would be potentially sacrificing himself to save Max, who we know is in a coma. She's bedridden and probably is going to get involved with Vecna again this season. He could potentially possess her, use her body as some sort of vessel, and so he could be in the line of fire as a direct result of Vecna using Max. Could you imagine if Max killed Lucas, but it was actually Vecna in Max's body? How dark and messed up would that be? I don't know what the Duffer Brothers are doing. Again, they've done dark in this show, so nothing would really throw me too off guard, but that would be messed up. Still, I envision Lucas, Dustin, and maybe some others here from that friend group being alive and well so that we can have like a final scene with them in an epilogue, you know, in a potential flash forward where they're alive and well, and maybe even having a go at one last D&D campaign. Next, we've got Murray the Bald Eagle Bauman, underrated character in the show. I'm going to say Murray is sort of up in the air, though. I'm going to put him right here because, honestly, he is a character they could kill. It'd be sort of a cheap kill because it's not like he has a deep connection to anyone outside of, say, Joyce and Hopper. He's been around since season 2, and he's definitely evolved as a character, become sort of a sleeper fan favorite to many, but it is an up-in-the-air character because he's someone who could die. If they want to just pile on the body count of deaths this season, Murray would probably be very easy to throw on that list because, I mean, what purpose is he going to serve post the show? We don't really need to see where Murray's at in the future. Like, yeah, it'd be sad to see him go, but it's not like it would be the most devastating thing ever. I mean, we've already lost Alexei, Rip Smirnoff in season 3. He was associated with Murray. I feel like they could have just as easily killed Murray then, you know? So I think he's up in the air. I could see him dying at the hands of Vecna. I could see him just dying in the line of fire. Say there's like a shootout scene. He could catch a stray bullet in the gut and maybe bleed out and die. So wouldn't be surprised either way. He could also just live because to kill him would almost be a waste, you know? And I'm not saying that as a shot at him, but why kill Murray? You could argue both sides, like, hey, why kill Murray? It wouldn't really be worth it. Or kill Murray and add to the body count. So I'm up in the air on him, but he's definitely not terribly safe. Moving on, we've got 11, the face of the show, you could argue. I have a gut feeling that you might not like, unfortunately. I think 11 is going to bite the dust. There's going to be one major death in the show, at least. And Vecna is the villain who's going to die. Who's the hero that's going to die? I'm leaning 11. I'm going to put her in the RIP tier. I just think in order for this world of Hawkins to go back to a state of normal, Vecna's got to go and 11's got to go. Because upon her arrival in that first episode at the end in the rain, when she sees, you know, Mike and them out in the woods, that's what forever changed the trajectory of all their lives. And since then, there hasn't been a consistent state of normalcy in Hawkins for too long. So I think she's going to go. And, you know, at the end of season 1, they killed 11, so they kind of already faked us out with the 11 death and brought her back. But I think this time she's really going to die. It will be devastating. Hopper will lose another daughter, and I don't know if I can really even think about that right now because their relationship means so much. But he's still going to have other kids in a sense, because if he ends up with Joyce, ends up marrying her, and Will lives, you got Will, you got Jonathan, and then in a way, he's kind of like a father figure to the gang and the party in my mind. So I just think 11's going to go. It's going to be super heartbreaking, but I just have this gut feeling she's going to be the one to go as of right now, and so her and Vecna might have one final showdown, you know, Harry Potter style with Harry and Voldemort in Deathly Hallows Part 2, but I feel as though those two will not be making it out. Next, we've got Max Mayfield, who's currently in a coma. I feel like that context is necessary. Because of that, I can't go too high on this list, honestly. I'm going to say not looking too good for her. I'm going to put her in the middle, maybe. Actually, I'm gonna say at the top of not looking too good, meaning she is really close to being in that rip tier, I think. I don't know, sometimes I mess up my tiers. All that matters is she's in that tier, okay? Look, she is in a coma. Vecna's clearly gonna be playing mind games with her, might physically possess her body in this season. How could I say she should be safe? Like, I do believe, on the one hand, the Duffers would have killed her off fully if they were going to kill her, but they kind of got cold feet in my opinion, but still, she's in a coma. I can't say she's up in the air, like, not looking too good, literally. She is in a coma, and she might be in one for a year plus, so it's not looking too good for Max. I love her. I want her and Lucas to have that date at the movies, but I can't say things are looking too bright for Max, unfortunately. Next, we've got Mike Wheeler, the main kid of the show. I would say Mike's safe. Again, I'm putting him up there with the rest of the gang, all right? He's going right here. I would say Mike's probably the safest of the three, to be frank, because Mike Wheeler, again, he's the main kid from the show. If you kill 11, you got to leave Mike alive because we have to see him continue on in life and maybe, you know, forever remember the memories he had with 11, but he's got to move on, and we'll see that in the epilogue maybe. So I'd say Mike, Dustin, Lucas will be together in the finale. They'll be together in a potential post, you know, events of the season time jump, much like how in the other seasons we have that epilogue. I think this one will probably be the biggest yet, potentially years worth of a time jump, just based on some clues that have been dropped. But I think they'll be alive, and Mike will be, you know, a survivor of Stranger Things because he is the main kid, and I don't know what they would gain from killing Mike. It wouldn't like ruin the show, but it would almost be like self-sabotage to kill him, you know? Thoughts on the character aside, I definitely think he can get irritating, but he's grown on me recently. Like on recent rewatches, I've understood him more and almost realized his as a character, his motivations. He does some things that piss me off the most, probably in season 4, but still, I'm more forgiving of certain decisions that he makes, you know, as I watch the show more. Regardless, he's going to be alive and well, I will say. Next, we've got Robin Buckley, who I don't think is 100% alive and well. None of the older kids necessarily are. By older kids, I mean like Nancy, Steve, etc. Robin being one of those. I'm going to say Robin is sort of up in the air, and I'll put her like right here. I just could totally see her biting the dust. I could totally see her living and living to tell the tale. They already kind of faked us out with Robin. I believe it was the season 4 volume 2 trailer where she has a line and she's like, what if it doesn't work?
I have this terrible feeling it might not work out for us this time.
Robin, played by Maya Hawke, she could totally crush a scene in terms of acting where she is dying and we just see Steve's reaction, we see Vicky's reaction. Like, it would really emotionally wreck me, and she is one of my favorite characters in the show. I'd say she's in that top 5 if I were to rank them. So up in the air, though. I could go either way on if they kill her or not. And the same can be said for Jonathan Byers, who's the last character on this list. I think Jonathan can go like right here. You know, Jonathan or Nancy or Robin, one of those characters could bite the dust. So they're all up in the air because it's 50-50. I can't be convinced fully on if they're going to die or live. So I'm just having them sort of right in the middle because I could see them going either way. I have devised this, you know, certain plot in my head where maybe Jonathan and Steve become buds over the course of the season, and one of them sacrifices themselves for Nancy, and the person who survives goes on to be with Nancy. So that puts Steve and, you know, Jonathan at risk. I could also see them, again, subverting our expectations and killing Nancy, leaving Jonathan and Steve to move on in life. I don't know what they're going to do, but I can't say with certainty that Nancy, Jonathan, or Steve are fully safe. In fact, Steve is the least safe of the bunch, probably. And then the same can kind of be said for Robin. No one's safe. I mean, you look at season 4, Steve, Nancy, and Robin are all tied up in vines, looking like they're about to die. So there's going to be close calls with a lot of these characters, but I only think 2 of them, of these major characters, are going to fully bite the dust. And that's okay. Stranger Things has never been a show that's been about killing their main characters. This isn't Game of Thrones. We will lose someone. We'll lose maybe more than one person, but we're not going to lose 7 characters because that would kind of defeat the purpose of the show. Think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We didn't really lose any of the Guardians, but we felt like we did, and we almost lost Rocket, and emotionally it was so draining that it felt like we lost characters, but it still was able to land in a rewarding place and wrap up the story wonderfully. I think that's what's going to happen with Stranger Things 5. Again, no one's really safe until we reach that finale and see they're alive as the credits roll, but this is my ranking based on how likely I think they are to survive, just my personal picks. Let me know in the comments down below how you would rank these characters, what tiers you would put them in. In fact, I'm going to put this tier list link available. So if you guys want to make your own, share that with me, and we can talk about it there as well. So appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. As always, this was a fun Stranger Things vid. It's been kind of a slow month for Stranger Things news, so I wanted to switch it up a bit. In fact, I made this video years ago. It was called something different, but it's the same concept. But I had less characters on it, and I made it like the month that Stranger Things 4 dropped, so that was like 3 years ago almost. But I wanted to do an updated version. Subscribe to that notification bell and stay tuned for more videos coming very soon. But until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.